by every single one of my colleagues.
Interesting. Go ahead.
Absolutely. And secondly, my school board colleague, Glenn Sturdivant, was the one who brought before the board to increase the budget from $1,233 to $15,933. That was per his recommendation, so that board members would not have to dip into general funds to get the professional development that was well needed by board members. Thirdly, in regard to Mr. Lorenzo Hall and his story, he reached out to me on the 22nd of October to say that he wanted to inquire about what I would be doing with my discretionary funds. I gave him basically a dissertation stating that I would be using it first for professional development. Secondly, because 80% of our student population is of African American descent, 9% of our student population is of Hispanic descent, I wanted to create a district-wide African American history program for those students to expose them to music, culture, motivational speakers, so that they would have a sense of pride about where they came from. That I have already been in discussions with our superintendent. I am still awaiting his schedule to open up to have further that conversation. I want to bring in facilitators to come and expose our students to everything that their culture, the richness of their culture brings to the community as a whole.
Okay. Now, and to me it's kind of, I would sum it up by saying as simple as that. But, for some reason they're making something that's simple appear to me to be much more complex. And these are my thoughts, and I want to just say this and get your ideas on this. There's something news folks do, they tend to do. They do this thing where they knock on doors. And they come to people's houses, whether they're there or not or whatever. And I believe that it's their attempt to make it look like someone is running from them. It's not like they set up an appointment to come to your house and then you opted out. They come when they want.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then when they get there, even though they don't say it, it puts it kind of sends, from my opinion, a subliminal message to the viewer, to the listener, to those who are watching. Oh, these people are never around when we need answers. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair. And I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to definitely give this opportunity to you. You use the term discretionary funds, or you use that term. Could you explain to people what that means, if you don't mind?
Basically, that's funds that are allocated to each individual board member so that they can use it to enhance and enrich their district, their community, their students that live within that district. Mine were going to be used for the district-wide program, to create homework clubs, to bring scholarships to students, to help them with maybe funding for their prom activities and things of that sort. So that's basically is at the discretion of the school board representative, but it is to be used for the enhancement of the student body.
And keep in mind, the council has $15,000 discretionary fund too.
As well, yes.
Each council member.
Ladies and gentlemen, you listen to the voice of Marty. I tell you what, Marty, let me just go ahead and let everybody know whenever we're wide open from this point.
Let her go.
But I want you to continue, maybe explaining to us what's going on. We're not going to spend a long time because we have to go in just a moment, but we want you to make sure that we deal with every aspect of these accusations or whatever it is, because we're moving on after this.
Absolutely.
And we're not going back, and this is not going to be a setback. I would say to the listeners, be watchful for ploys. Be watchful for distractions. Be watchful for things to divert or to cause us to get off of our mission.
Absolutely.
Okay, for those who have a mission. And I feel as though a target, and I said this to you when you came in here and you were trying to get into this seat. I told you that a target would be on your back if you try to do what you said you were trying to do.
Absolutely.
And so it's there, and it's all right because you're standing and you're still smiling. But if you could, anything else that we may have forgotten from any of the groups that are here, anyone that's here, that needs to be addressed, let me say it, I'll open up in a minute, but I want to deal with this specifically regarding Mr. Dave, anything you can think of, anything maybe that we didn't deal with, particularly about why they knocked on your door.
Well, let me just say where the conspiracy begins and trying to target me in particular.
And why?
I am the only board member of the 9 school board representatives whose expense report was inappropriately sent to the Lorenzo Hall, the news reporter.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it was me who brought it to the attention of our clerk's office. My expense report was doubled, a little more than doubled, and sent out. And to this day, they can't even show me where they've sent the revised version of what I actually spent.
So you're claiming that it's not even accurate?
Absolutely, completely inaccurate.
This is important because now I'm getting, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, I'm getting another aspect, another angle I did not know, even from talking to you.
Breaking news.
Yeah. I need to, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I was standing with her, even though the numbers were there, and now you're telling me and all the people who are listening that the numbers are not accurate and have not been
proven.
proven.
Completely. Our clerk said that she incorrectly, mistakenly, counted my expense report twice.
Mistakenly. Apologies, they make great mistakes.
Absolutely. And forwarded this information on. Also, there is the issue of rezoning, which of course we all know that the school board has received a personal lawsuit against because of resegregating the schools within our district.
Do you feel that you're feeling the heat?
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
of that issue.
Absolutely. And
rezoning.
Yes, absolutely. I'm feeling the heat. And because of the fact that the conferences that I attended out of town were all about race. Brown versus Board of Education, courageous conversations about race. And I'll bring those conversations and the information back to my colleague and speak about it openly. And the only thing they can reference from that is I'm race baiting. You know, I'm making them appear as if they're racist, and those words never came out of my mouth. The only thing I'm asking you to do is be conscious that our students of color are not receiving equal access to programs throughout the district as those who are more fortunate than they are.
Is that a secret? You know, my question to everybody is it a secret that the education is not equal, has never been equal, and is there any secret that what they're asking as it pertains to rezoning, that it is, in my opinion, blatant? It's very clear for anyone who would take time to open their eyes to see that it is yet again, you cannot leave the race card out of it. You just cannot.
Absolutely.
No, worse than that, Pastor. There is a sinister conspiracy being played out right now. Now, we caught them racially rezoning the elementary schools. We caught them dead-handed. It's in court. The school board filed a motion to dismiss the case. The judge says, oh no. Oh, there's too much in here that has merit. We are not dismissing this case. Now let's get that out of the way. Now, in light of the lawsuit, in spite of the lawsuit, they're going to try to rezone the middle schools through a conspiracy of the same people who did the elementary schools by stealth.
Absolutely.
By stealth. And then next, they're going to do the high school. We better wake up and realize what's going on here. Mamie caught them. They hate her for it because she caught them. She caught them red-handed over at Benford Middle School. The mayor has been publicly quoted as saying that we will take care of the performance of improved performance of our academics in this city once we gentrify the city.
Hold that thought.
Keep that in mind.
Hold that thought. Stay right there. We're going to go to the phone lines and take a quick caller. Caller, you're on the air. Thank you. You're tuned in with some of the heavy hitters, so please make it quick.
Thanks for letting me on. Hey, Martin, I want to get your thoughts about this new superintendent of schools canceling the Armstrong and Rifle game. One, the game was moved to City Stadium. I think maybe they had 500 people. I don't know. But I've been to Armstrong Night. You've been there before. You know Coach Moody.
Yes.
We talk about revenue. The gate never lost on a Friday night. We talk about walking. We talking about people going on a Friday night. And last time I checked, I haven't seen any incident. But yeah, here's the thing nobody's not talking about. And again, Marty, I got this from reliable source that the Marana Howard Spring game, they had 35 fights. But yet, didn't hit the media as that Marana. And also, they're not going to play that game no more in the daytime. Now, this past Thursday, you know you're talking about Union and State play. Now, what sense did it make moving the game from Armstrong to City Stadium on a Saturday afternoon when they could have played that game on a Friday and bring revenue into the school. The school definitely needs.
Oh, I didn't know that game didn't take place. You caught me flat-footed, Mamie.
I just want to inject myself just for a moment because I do have another appointment that I have to get to. But I just wanted to put it on the record that that game did take place. The time was altered. It was bumped up by 30 minutes, but it was prior to that game. The reason for that decision was that there were some gang activities going on between two specific gangs in the East End, and they wanted more daylight throughout that activity. But I also want to put on the record that in regard to the rezoning, the Facilities Task Force, which is co-chaired by both Kimberly Gray and Kristen Larson, who have been both named in the lawsuit, they are being asked to bring the data forward and inform the decision for the second rezoning that's going to take place on secondary schools. And that is something that I brought before the attention at the board meeting last Monday. And so I just wanted everyone to be aware. I have people here that are capable of elaborating on that, but I just wanted to make sure that that was on the record, that the Facilities Task Force, headed by 2 board members who were responsible for contributing to a lawsuit that's pending, are now being asked to oversee the rezoning on the secondary level.
And maybe didn't Kristen Lawson ask that the school board, if I'm correct, Kristen Lawson stated in the last meeting, I was there, clear me up on this, that they need to hurry up and do this rezoning because they only have 2 years left while they're on the school board?
Absolutely. And you also have Huguenot High School coming online in January, and I'm confident that they want to make sure that certain children aren't given access to that new building. Also, Benford Middle School, which has been purposefully under-enrolled for the past 2 years, so they can say there's a problem here and we need to create a new program. But while doing that simultaneously, they want to rezone the Halton area and make sure that Benford School is used as a feeder for both Halton and Fox and also Mary Mumford. So it would be like a safe zone for certain students to feel comfortable in an environment in RPS where they would usually opt out of RPS and go into a private school setting. So now they're trying to create an environment where their students will be comfortable in the safe neighborhood of Benford Middle School.
And maybe, I know you have to leave, but I think it's so important that people know, since we talked about Benford, real quickly, we all know about Benford. If you kept up with the information, it was posted in I think the Richmond Free Press that there was going to be a meeting at Benford Elementary School and Middle School with the parents of Benford Middle School. Now, Mamie Taylor is the representative of that school. It's a school that's located in the 5th District. To my knowledge, and maybe you correct me, is that you received a phone call. Am I correct?
From the superintendent asking me to basically stand down. He would take notes and report back to me as to what the outcome of that meeting was. Labeled as Benford parent meeting, there was not one Benford parent in the room. In fact, not only was the principal not notified about this meeting, but nor was any of the staff from Benford notified. These were all business community leaders who wanted to put money into the school to accommodate a certain section or sector of the city.
And also, Mamie, in that meeting, you, as a representative, was told not to
come to the meeting.
But when you arrived at that meeting,
both Jeffrey Bourne from the 3rd District, which is the Halton District, and Kimberly Gray from the 2nd District, which is the Fox District, were in the room. And that's a Benford school.
And you were told by the superintendent that the principal would not be there.
The principal would not be there, and lo and behold, the principal was sitting right beside the superintendent.
Thank you very much.
What meeting that was again? That you were told that?
Benford Middle School parent meeting.
Okay.
Was what it was labeled as, but again, not one Benford parent was in the room.
Nor the principal.
The principal was there. Apparently, he was notified in the 11th hour. I guess them realizing I would probably be there. He was notified in the 11th hour to report and give some form of update, which he said he didn't even have time to prepare for.
Maybe what's going on? What does it look like from your view they're trying to do now? what do we need to be ahead of now? Because let me say this to everybody listening. Mamie isn't running out because she doesn't want to talk to you. She told me before the program, they told me that what time she had to go. We started late. So I'm spending as much time on Mamie, and then anybody who wants to hang around even after she goes, we're gonna party in here today. So I'm saying I want to get the necessities out of the way for Mamie because it's my fault. I want to stand and say it's my fault that we dragged along. I wanted as many people to listen and be here as possible. So Mamie, tell us, what do you think they're trying to go from there as it pertains to the zoning? Any news that people need to know that they're not going to get from, of course, mainstream media or what have you? What do we need to know? Where do we go from here?
Basically, I need everyone and anyone who can come out to board meetings to be there, to be vocal, to just flood the emails of our superintendent, his administration, and board members with the fact that we see what you're trying to do. You're trying to tie the hands of board members like Mamie Till and myself who care about what happens to all of our students, especially those who are disenfranchised. That they are creating policies now, specifically the constituency policy, that says that if I were to intervene in any way, shape, or form, no matter how serious the situation is, that I stand the chance of being censured for even speaking out. I was put into office to serve my constituency, not our administration. So for you to tell me that I can't speak up on their behalf, I can't make phone calls to see if this is expedited. They say a 72-hour response, but that's just to say, I got your email, I hear your concern, but I have students in the system who are 5 years old, suspended from school, and being threatened with expulsion because they have some behavioral issues. We can't manage our classrooms. We can't close our classrooms to the fact that we have to put a 5-year-old young boy, a black boy, in the street and put him on a pipeline to prison because we can't handle our business as grown folks, as educated folks. I don't understand that. And the fact that I can't step in and say what the deal is, that's an issue.
Keywords, Sister Taylor, pipeline to prison.
That's it.
Maybe they are handling their business.
Yeah.
Maybe their business isn't our business.
Exactly.
And that's the problem. Their business is the prison. Their business is the pipeline to the prison.
Absolutely.
Their business is medicating our children and over-medicating and drugging them.
Absolutely.
Their business is separating us by class and by how, the color of our skin, so on and so forth. So maybe that's where the great divide is coming, that your business, maybe Taylor, is not their business.
That's right.
And the truth is, if your business is not their business, they're going to try to make some business or your business be in the street to try to destroy your character.
Absolutely.
And so what we want to stand today to say, before you get out of here, because I know you're losing time, to those that are listening today, we're not falling for it. We've seen this happen time and time again, when you don't measure up to the machine, when you don't line up to the back door reasoning, to the back door agenda, they put out all kinds of things. You're not the first one, and you will not be the last. But where we're standing today is, you're telling the people they need to come out. When is the next time you need to see their face?
Monday, November the 17th at 6 p.m.
This coming Monday.
This coming Monday, November the 17th at City Hall on the on the second floor in the council chambers. So we'll have plenty of room for you to sit, for you to stand in line, for you to voice your concerns, and let them know I put this representative in place to support me, to give me what I need to educate my children or to entertain my concerns. That is not the responsibility of the superintendent, because I'll tell you, the superintendent doesn't even answer my questions in a timely fashion or at all. So how in the world can I expect him to answer that of those whom I serve? At the top of the pyramid is the constituency. Then comes the school board. Then comes the superintendent and his administration. And it's time that our administration realizes you're not in charge. You're not even at the top of the totem pole.
Wow. Well, you know what? That's a lesson that hasn't been learned in any capacity when it comes to government.
Right.
Whereas all the servants are the people, and that's backwards. The leaders ought to be serving the people.
Absolutely.
And from the police on down. And the bottom line is, we're seeing and we're feeling the aftermath. We're feeling what's come out of our lack of desire to take our authority as people. So here we are. Before you go, I want you just one more time, because I find it needful for those who are listening, on Monday the 17th, I want you to hear me, the 17th, we're calling for everyone who cares, who gives a darn about anything that has to do about these children. Is there any particular agenda, once again, for those who didn't quite understand it, what will be the agenda that what do we want to accomplish? What will we be standing for on that particular day? Is there anything in particular?
Well, we need to make sure that we stand for this constituency policy and that changes are made immediately. Not later, but right away. We also need to make sure that when this rezoning takes place, that it's done in a timely fashion. Experts say it should take 12 to 18 months to do it correctly, to collect the data. I've already spoken with the member of administration, and he says he's going to do everything he can to make sure that's honored. But you do, again, have those two board members, Ms. Kimberly Gray and Kristen Lawson, who are co-chairing and informing the decision that they say. So making sure that we follow that process extremely closely to make sure it's to the benefit of our students and not our administration.
Wow. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I don't know who's out there listening. I know you got to go, Sister Taylor. Anything else you need to say before you go that you need to tell the people? Anything else that you want to say? Now, we're going to keep rocking when you leave because I still want to come back and talk to Mr. Gregory, Marty. We got some more folks that are going to be coming in today, and we're going to let that thing just fly. But before you go, anything else you would like to say? I want to thank you before you go personally for standing up yet again. I want to thank you personally and on behalf of our people yet again for coming in. And I hope this will go as a note and will go on record that you have answered the questions. That first of all, and I want everybody to please keep this in remembrance. The numbers that were presented are not accurate.
They were double.
That needs to be addressed. I want that, and they have not been proven, or there has not even been really an attempt to prove them. They're just thrown out there because they know that what you see, many of you will believe and not question.
Secretary apologized, but never corrected.
Exactly.
So,
And that's a sneaky way. That's a very sneaky way.
in the public domain.
Marty, that's a very sneaky way, and anybody who understands politics, they can do that, but they know the damage has already been done because it's already been sent through the airwaves, been sent over media, all the different media outlets. So, Mamie, I want to thank you again. Anything else before you go?
Just want to say that I'll be back. You can reach me at 804-908-4232. Again, this is Mamie Taylor, reachable at 804-908-4232. Just be present, show up, and just know that I am staying encouraged.
What time?
6 o'clock on the 17th of November, next Monday, in City Council chambers. I am staying encouraged, and they've got the right individual because I will not let this get by. I will fight until I have nothing else to fight with. They've got the right person in me. I've got the constituencies back. Whatever the need is, I am willing and courageous enough to speak out and let the people know. As Preston Brown would say, if I smell it, I'm going to tell it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Mamie Taylor. Appreciate you today. And I'm calling for everybody that listen to me, all those who listen to us, to meet us down there on Monday. All those that believe in and I want to support, I'm calling for all of you all to meet us Monday at 6 o'clock. Lord's willing, I'll be in the house, and I'm coming. Well, Pastor Rob, you don't come, I'm coming this Monday. And that's the bottom line. It's important, and I want everybody who listens to me to meet us down there so that we can join together. Now, I'm leaving some folks behind, and I want to welcome some other folks as well. But before I do, I want to thank God. I got Monty Jewell still here in the building. I've got President Richmond Coalition, Greg Dave, and then last but not least, do we have it?
Otis Mallory, I'm a member of the coalition.
Okay, we have also one of, and again, if you don't mind, touch that microphone. I'm going to take a few more minutes, and then we're going to bring in a man that wants to comment about this, especially in terms of Glenn, I think his name is Mr. Glenn
Otis Mallory.
I know his name. I'm not even talking about that. We're going to have some other comments regarding the school board and some things that have been done.
And Glenn
Sturman in just a minute.
They said policeman came through here and wrote everybody's license number down.
Yeah, camera phone got everybody's license plates on here.
It's parked.
So he parked on the side right here. On the front.
They came out block twice.
He had like 6 cameras on the back of his car.
Okay, clearly, they said the police, they said just now that the police car came down and wrote down everybody's license plate. I didn't do it. I don't know what they're looking for. Anyhow, Chris went out there, he used to stuff like that. And Russell, Chris is going to be in him because he chased after Bruce. You don't run from him, but anyhow, is that what it said? Okay, well, it's good to have you. And if you decide to change your mind, we'll reintroduce you.
God bless you.
And the microphone is yours. In just a minute, I want to hear from you too, Chris, so just give me a few seconds. Greg, Dave, Monty, Jewel, we heard from Amy today. I know how you all stand, at least where I believe I know where you stand regarding what she said. You all are in support.
Absolutely.
And you subscribe to the things that she said as being true.
Yes.
Come on, I want to hear from you all today. What's next? What else? What else did we not cover as it pertains to this Richmond School Board, this rezoning, anything else that needs to be thrown out there? Because in a minute, I'm going to bring in some folks that are going to really light some fire into the situation.
Let me make a couple points. Pastor, number one, I've been hopelessly political all my life. Hopeless. And I've seen this stuff before. This ain't new. Where you get certain school board members or city council members or state officials who have a hook, who have friendships with media individuals. And they use them. Sometimes with or without their permission, they use them. Their spin, which is a political way of flipping the script on information you want to get out. Everybody knows that they had roughly $1,200 discretionary funds last year for each of the school board members. That's multiplied by 9 times this year. They get almost $16,000 for discretionary funds. Each one of them. And all but one is brand new school board members. So they need this training. They have to go away to get it. And so it's beneficial to the system and to the city that they go and get this training because none of them got experience. All right? And so that's why they up the discretionary fund for each one of them because they were so inexperienced. And now they're going to beat them over the head for spending the money? The money's there to be spent, fool. And even at that, we've got half the year gone by, Pastor, and she spent less than half of her discretionary funds.
Yeah.
You would think that that would be equitable. Half. She spent half of that half. It's insane. This is being made as a false issue
Would you
to
agree?
discredit her because she has the spotlight zoomed on their treachery.
Would you agree that the media and others like them are playing on the ignorance of people who don't know about these funds?
Absolutely.
So that it will paint a picture as if there's some misappropriation or there's some type of mishandling of funds. When you just clearly stated
It's the whole
that you
purpose.
used less than half
Yes.
in the year,
Yes.
and we're how far into the year? I mean,
Almost a half a year gone. She's
Right.
going to use half of her allotted amount.
and so no crime has been committed,
Nope.
no stealing.
Nope.
And I guess my question is, so then this is nothing more than a strategy.
They are.
It's a strategy.
It's a strategy they're using to smear her because she got them. She's exposing them, and they want to shut her up.
What do you think let me ask you this. What do you honestly, and I mean, I'm coming raw now, what do you really think they're most upset with her about? What particular area? Greg, whatever. Go ahead, whoever.
They were. Miss Dale was extremely polite.
That's what I'm asking.
This is as racial as it gets. They want to repopulate this school system. The economy crash in 08 has totally destroyed household incomes, even in the white communities. They can't afford to send their kids to these private schools anymore. And they want to repopulate these schools under their terms instead of being honest. And let's have a public discussion about race in Richmond Public Schools that has never taken place. Even when we integrated in 1971, we never had a desensitizing effort for our black and white students, black and white teachers, black and white parents to come to grips with this racial divide that the capital of the Confederacy has been noted for all its life. And so this is race. And there is this unfounded fear that my child in a distinctly black, a minority in a distinctly black population is somehow unsafe. Now, that was the case when black folks first integrated white schools. We entered a hostile environment. It is just the opposite with white children coming into black schools, especially at the elementary and middle school level. You don't have racial animus among children there. So it's an unfounded fear that's driving them, and you got black folk aiding and abetting. We only got 2 whites out of 7 on the school board. 2 whites out of 9, I'm sorry. The other 7 are black. Yet you got 3 who teamed up with the 2 white folks to aid and abet this racial bias that they're trying to do about them.
And shamefully, Marty, I gotta say, I don't expect no different out of niggas. That's me talking. I got a quick call. Let's go to the phone line real quick. Caller, you're on the air. Thank you for tuning in.
Pastor Scarborough,
Yes.
this is wrong, man. I just want to thank you, man. This is one of the best shows that you done had since you've been on the radio. You done had great shows, good shows, but this one of the best. I couldn't hold back no longer. I had to call, and I repent on everything.
Hey, Ro, good to hear you, man. We're trying to get going for these kids. If you can, come on down on the 17th at 6 o'clock. No hard feelings, Ro.
And I'm going to try to make it. God bless, Scarborough.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
Got it.
So, I want to say to you, it all comes back to the money, really, is what you just told me. After you said everything you said, it's about money, it's about somebody's comfort, it ties to racism, but it's still money. I don't care how you look at it. They're dealing with rezoning the schools, they're going to have all these projects, somebody's pockets are getting lined, so many people are, and that's the stuff I want to talk about because I'm not going to play the game where they accuse Mamie, so let's point the finger at someone else. But let's just be honest. Now that we established, and even the reporter himself said she has not committed any crime or anything.
Right.
So that's not even for debate today. Now let's establish this. There has been misuse of funds by government officials much higher than Mamie that nobody ever says anything about because everybody's scared to death of them. And they started with our mayor. And nobody says that he got security detail that belongs with Michael Jackson and all this other stuff. And nobody says anything, but we want to pick on this school board member because she's not going along to get along with the other, whoever the other set of Negroes are, whoever it is that's playing along. I mean, it's going to be up to y'all. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to move right away, but I'm going to say it to the people listening. When y'all really get tired, and you decide to stand up, then we're going to do something. Otherwise, it's going to be just a few people like it always is, and we're going to keep on, like you said, hopeless politics. And I'm telling you, until you all stand up and say, this is what's got to be for our children, we are in a big world of a mess. They're going to do it right in front of us. They're going to do it in our face. Yeah. Then they're going to tell us that they did it, and then you all going to be talking about, why did they do this? Why did nobody do nothing? And I'm telling you that I got Gregory Day, I've got Mamie Taylor, I've got Marty Jewell, I've got Chris Dorsey sitting here, I got all these people in here who are trying to tell you this stuff is going on, and you're going to be sitting around wondering, where did this come from? It's right here. What are you going to do on Monday the 17th and every Monday or every time they meet thereafter? Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time. Greg, go ahead.
Yeah, Pastor. I just wanted to say this too. Mamie Taylor, we've told the Richmond Coalition for Quality Education, we stand with Mamie Taylor.
Yes.
But we need you all to stand with us. We've been through this once already with the rezoning, and that's why we have this lawsuit going on right now. Mamie has been very, very vocal on this board, and she will not back down. She told you that. She will fight for these children. But what the Richmond Coalition has asked of Mamie, we've spoken with her, and we told Mamie if there's anything that we need to do, because this board continues to bring her out of character. Marty said it best. Some of it is a lot of it is dealing with the race. She told you what she did with the funds and her professional development that she has taken these trips for. But what I have seen and what disheartens me is the communication that I see going back and forth on Facebook. How we have called her every name but a child of God. she is a child of God. We have criticized her to no end. People we don't even know. She was criticized so bad, everyone, that one gentleman who criticized her sent her an IM message. And you know what I'm saying about IM. They saw her on Facebook and sent her a message and apologized to her because they did not know. A lot of us don't know this. Mamie Taylor responded to Lorenzo Hall's request. Go to her Facebook page. She put it all out there. She responded
But the response
to his
wasn't
request.
The response was not broke. It was not advertised. It was not put out there for anyone to know. I didn't know it.
It was not reported on
It was not
by TV6.
by TV6, but she did. She posted it. She sent him an email because he emailed her. She emailed him back. Thank God for email, because once all of this went on, she decided to post what he sent to her on her Facebook page so people could see that she responded. And the same thing you said, Pastor. Breaking news. You're learning a lot of stuff.
Breaking news.
This gentleman said he did not know that she had
Which
responded.
furthers my claim that they don't want people to know.
That's right.
Because if they're non-biased, then they would have gladly placed her response instead of just allowing it to look like a knock at the door and she's somewhere hiding in the basement. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, there's an agenda there. There's a motive. I can't pretend like there isn't an agenda and a motive.
There's on the agenda is to deflect attention away from what they're doing with this rezoning by tearing down the image of Mamie Taylor, who's trying to put light on this thing.
And also,
Discredit her.
that's all they're doing is discrediting her at this point. And they want people to see that. But like you said, Pastor, people have to see for themselves. Come down to those school board meetings. See how she's fighting. They make it seem like she's the worst person there is when you read that newspaper. And I know Mamie Taylor. I know Mamie Taylor. I was her campaign manager.
Right.
I was there when Mamie Taylor wouldn't speak her first year on that school board. And I would go to her home and say, you got to stop speaking. I was there. Now Mamie does her homework. And they are so afraid. You have people that have shut her down. She's one of 9. And we were told, the Richmond Coalition for Quality Education was told this by a lawyer, and I will say, is that we don't want Mamie to reap any repercussions because of what we're doing. And if he said he's noticed that the school board has shut her down, no matter what Mamie brings to the table, they will not listen. They will not vote on it. It's
She's blackballed.
if you look at the story said investigation, Lorenzo Hall. What that tells me, Pastor, Marty, Chris, Otis, everybody in this room, it tells me that somebody leaked. We talking investigation. Somebody leaked a story trying to get something on Mamie Taylor. They leaked the wrong information.
Yeah.
They didn't have the information.
You got
And
it.
the leak comes from within the school board.
Come on now.
No one can tell me any different. It came from the school board to take the attention off of what they're doing and bring it on to Mamie Taylor. So an investigation had to be done, and someone had to leak that information.
I want to welcome, and I'm just going to say this now, I'm going to welcome to the program Chris Dorsey. And he's not particularly a member of this particular organization. I say that because I often separate myself, because my views are so strong that I don't even want to hurt anyone's. I know where I stand. And I've been blackballed, so I know Chris don't mind me doing that for him as well.
Sure.
I'm sure he has a lot of things he agrees with that's going on, because he's always screaming and raving about the mess. But I want to say welcome, Chris, to the program.
Thank you, Pastor Rob.
If you could just, I want to stay right on this topic for right now.
absolutely.
The school board. What's going on, Chris?
Well, I have been watching this from the beginning, and I had an instant reaction when I watched the 11 o'clock news and saw Zoe and Zoe's tricks. But they're not Zoe's tricks. They're, he's just an individual that's carrying it out. But, when talking about the media, I think it's very interesting with this story. I want to touch on what pretty much everybody has been saying and just give my analysis, because that's what I do. I'm an analyst, amateur or professional. I analyze things, and I analyze politics are paid liars. They are caught lying constantly. They're caught putting out false information and, placing a retraction on the final page in 2 sentences when they had the wrong information on the front page of the paper or the lead story for several weeks. I mean, that could be an over-exaggeration, but that's what happens. The second, correct story never goes out, and the information is, yes, it was leaked, but just because some information is leaked doesn't mean it can go on television for all to see when it is provably false.
Right.
That is a lie. That's somebody lying for a living. When they can come up with the information through simple research. I know my experience with our proof of election fraud, just to say the least, with the local news stations. We completely did all their research for them. They didn't need to verify anything. We verified it for them, and they never ran with anything. So it seems to me the only numbers that they like to put out there are fake numbers. And this was provably fake. This is slander.
Yes.
That is a legal charge. It would be a legal charge if laws actually applied in this country. And they do not. They never do it. And I want to touch on what Pastor Rob was saying earlier, that this is a distraction, and Marty and Greg, we're saying this as well. This is to deflect. And I'd like to, and piggybacking on what Pastor Rob said about, it's always about the money, because you say, well, it's not white members of the school board that are pushing this forward. It doesn't matter, because the only color that matters is green. Everybody has a price, and so the money is what matters. And if we want to talk about distraction and deflection, we can talk about the one that is the common refrain amongst the controlled opposition of the criminal Richmond city government is, oh, you're giving tens of millions of dollars to Altria, Bon Secours, the Washington Redskins, and look at the school, and they say this over and over again. So whose problem is this? The administration of the government, they're being consistent. They're always going to give the elites, so-called elites, they're going to give the controllers of the money. They're going to give the controllers of the money exactly what they want every single time. And I went to this council meeting, as I do, I may have missed a few over the past 4 years, but I usually go, because there's always some sort of thing that they're pushing through that nobody's talking about. And again, they're pushing through a multi-million-dollar giveaway after admitting that they're not charging taxes to any of these corporations that they're already giving millions of dollars of taxpayer money in order for them to do their construction or, operate their business. Again, a brewery, a booze house is going to get taxpayer money by the millions. Do we know anything about the plan? Absolutely not. The same folks that always steal the money, they just say, trust us.
Chris,
Trust
the
us.
council doesn't even know what's in the plan.
Right. Well, that's why the most important thing I do there, besides just lay out what the actual fact is about the international banking cartel and how they control every aspect of the government and so forth, is I get up there and say, you guys put on the news about somebody, a false report about somebody not even violating the allotted, money to do their operation. I'm talking about maybe Taylor now, and going forward, and we're talking about the fake number is like $8,000, so that means the other number is like $4,000, and we have every council meeting, tens of millions of dollars of the citizens bonded out to this corporation or bonded out to that corporation, or an agreement to agree to a blank check for any number of different gigantic corporations. Do we see Lorenzo Hall knocking on any of the doors of the owners of the Washington Redskins or Bon Secours, the stockholders of Bon Secours Hospital? No. He gets worked up over what turns turns out to be $4,000? When I saw the people of Richmond get bonded out for $65 million on top of a blank check to something called Stone Brewery?
$4,000.
Right. To me, that's a lot of money, but to watch it happen in the government, it's nothing. It is nothing. It is less than a drop in a bucket. I've been told by a lawyer and actually I talked to Marty about this back in the day when they were, putting forward, alleged putting forward money to put a HVAC unit in the jail when people were dying of heat exhaustion. And so I followed up on that because the money was allotted and it was never put in there. And I got in touch with somebody named Tabrika Rentz, and she told me that finding $150,000 in the budget is like finding a needle in a haystack. So what is finding $4,000 in the budget? How ironic is that? If they're telling me $150,000 5 years ago was like, finding a needle. Actually, it probably wasn't 5 years ago. It was probably 2010. Was like finding a needle in a haystack in the 2010 budget. But this one is, everybody's figured out exactly what it was. Only it turns out it was just a false report, which is a crime.
Well, what is the superintendent's name? Come on, talk to me real quick, bro. Just.
Pastor, the superintendent and I need to sit down and have a talk. But since we had this lawsuit on the table, we got not met as of yet, so I'm trying to let that pass. But I do think that the superintendent, to me, in my hindsight, is playing the board. The superintendent knows that the board is not together. He knows that the board is at each other. So when something comes up that he wants to get through, he tends to talk to maybe 5 people to get down votes. Mamie Taylor tries to talk to him. She already told you he don't respond to her. He don't answer her calls. So I don't think that he's being very professional right now as well. With Mamie Taylor, I can truly say that. I even know he doesn't even really respond to Shonda Harris Muhammad correctly. There were 3 people on that board that voted against this rezoning. And hear me good. Which was T.G. Peek-Niepce, Shonda Harris Muhammad, and Mamie Taylor. That's strange. And look where they are now.
Hold on. Say it again now. Hold on, Brain. Can't everybody out there steal somewhere stuck under a rock? He just mentioned 3 names, the only 3 names that voted against this big racial divide called rezoning. You mentioned those 3 names one more time. Tell us those 3 names one more time, because sometimes our listeners, they just fade off and they miss the key points.
And I'm going to add a name to it, but okay. The first 3 I said was Teacher Peek-Niepce.
Okay. Her name was in the news lately, but go ahead.
Yes. Shonda Harris Muhammad.
Her name has been in the news.
Mamie Taylor.
Her name has been in the news.
And last but not least, who did vote for the rezoning was the chairman, Donald Coleman. But
Who's been quiet as a mouse.
I will say, for some reason, has done a turnaround. Anytime you can walk up to Greg Day. Now, a lot of people say I don't pat myself on the back because I'm not here for gratification. I'm here just to tell the truth. I tell y'all that all the time. But anybody that can walk up to me and say, you've been working for children for a long time, Mr. Day. I'm so glad you're still in it. And I know, no matter what anybody said about you, you're working on behalf of these children. That's what Donald Coleman said to me, and I had so much respect for him. But what I have seen lately, how he did it 360, let me tell you something. Either the superintendent or Jeff Bourne, I'll call names. I'm not scared. There's a dagger in my back. I already told y'all, most of y'all, that if anything happened to me, y'all send them to who? And I told y'all who to send them to. If anything happened to me, I heard Pastor Wall say that before. I'm not backing down from nobody. I've had a news reporter stand up in my face that tried to say that me and Mamie Taylor had something going on. I've had them because I questioned them to stand before me and get in my face and said, try to provoke me to hit them, that I'm not going to do anything like that. I've had that to happen. So, Donald Coleman, I have no idea what happened. Donald Coleman acts like a madman when Mamie Taylor speaks. Come down to that school board meeting and see for yourself. The media said that he was just hitting the gavel on the table, She was talking over him, he was cutting her. She's frustrated, everyone. She is frustrated. So we as the Richmond Coalition has told her, let us fight your battle. We're not going to fight it physically, which they think that we're going to do, but we're going to stand on behalf of Mamie Taylor. We're going to talk on behalf of Mamie Taylor because they know how to push her buttons. Right now, they are pushing them. But anyway, people, I don't know how many times we can say this. We need you all to come. Come on November the 17th. Mamie just told us that it's going to be on the second floor. If we can just flood that place up, and I will tell you now, I will be one of those that are speaking. People, I will be one of those who will be speaking. And I'm not speaking on behalf of Mamie Taylor. I'm speaking on behalf of what's right, the rezoning and the constituency policy that has been written. We need you all to come down and just support those things like Mamie said. Let's not have wrong information going out. Let's wait until we get all the facts like we got today before we criticize folk. I've spoken up many times on her behalf trying to play some of this stuff down, but Mamie was a strong woman. What I saw here today, what you couldn't see when she was speaking, when I look at her face and she said she's not backing down, that's a strong woman and she wants to fight. She's going to continue to fight for your children, but she can't do it without you because again, she's one of 9. And if these other members don't see it, they're not giving her any type of acceptance to what she brings to the board. Like you heard earlier, the Bedford parents. She didn't tell you that these were parents. Let me break it down in layman's terms. These parents that were in this meeting were parents of elementary school children,
Right.
whose children will be moving to Bedford next year. So they don't like the way Bedford is now. So they want to make it to what they want it to be. And of course the superintendent accepted that challenge. He's going to work with them. I don't see anything wrong with that as long as they do it the right way. But when you have 2 board members sitting in a meeting that Mamie Taylor is the representative of the district and she's told not to be there, Marty Jewell, there's some dog in that cave, and I smell a rat. So Mamie was told not to show up. Y'all heard this over and over again. We just want to put it out there. She was told not to show up for a school that is in her district. Rezoning getting ready to go on.
But then the media talking about meetings she didn't go to. But they won't talk about the meetings they didn't want her to go. They did want her to come.
Exactly.
Okay.
And Huguenot High School is ready to come online. Now, I will tell you, the Richmond Coalition for Quality Education will be sitting down soon. You can go back and read the newspaper if you don't believe me, but Zachary Reed broke down the districts. He broke down the lines, and basically he was making our job a lot easier to show us who will be going to the brand new Huguenot High School. There are going to be children removed from that school that goes there now. We just want to make sure that the racial divide is done equally. We got to stop moving these children around, just pushing them around because this group is going to this school or this neighborhood is going to this school, so we don't want these children to go to this school. We got to stop that because that's what we had in this last rezoning. If you don't believe me, go back and read the information from professors at VCU who stood up and said, oh yes, they resegregated these schools.
Wow.
Oh yes. Read the paper, people. Read the information. We had so many people come out and stood up and said, oh yes. And anytime, Marty, like you said, the judge
Right.
said, oh no, we gonna hear this.
Yes.
Because something has been done. And then, now what Mamie Taylor was telling you, rezoning coming back on the table for the middle school and the high schools, and the 2 people named in the lawsuit, 2 of the people named in the lawsuit was Kristen Lawson and Kimberly Gray. Those 2 names, people, Kristen Lawson, who I believe, I'm going to put it out there, will be running for city council in 2016 to replace Kathy Graziano. You know, meet her on city council and she can't even get it right on the school board and haven't even served a full term there yet. Kimberly Gray, who's aspiring to go into either city council or move to the house. I mean, something's wrong with this picture, people. She's been on the school board longer than the rest of them, and they won't even make school board. And you're talking about putting her somewhere. Let me tell you, those people are not right for these politics right now or to represent you. These are the people who put targets on this young lady's back. I'm speaking for what I know. Come out the great day. That's all I can say. Come on out the great day. Because I said it, and I'll say it again. I'm not running. I'm right here with Pastor Rob right now. Be leaving shortly. Or I'll stay here as long as he wants me to stay here. But we're going to get this target removed off this young lady's back so she can continue the work that she needs to do.
Let me add a bit more to this perspective. Am I high?
No, you won't.
Anybody that's been around here would know that Richmond's been run by corporate or the financial elite that Chris alluded to earlier. As long as Richmond has been Richmond. They call the shots on how we spend our economic development juice dollars. They're the ones who lined up in support of the mayor, came out publicly, visibly, Chamber of Commerce, right, to support the ballpark stadium in the bottom. They're the ones who, when we had over $400 million worth of school construction needs, they pushed the council to vote to build a performing arts center. Hello, using taxpayer money to build it and using taxpayer money to run it. You been to that performing arts center lately? Huh?
Never.
It's for the elite. It ain't for the rest of us. Right. While our schools go to hell in a handbasket. And so, corporate has an advisory board to advise the superintendent. Hello. So the minute he comes to town, he ain't even been a year yet, he just got it started in February. They in his ear before he even gets started. And he's cherry picking his board members who he can count on support in keeping him in a job. 5 votes against him and he's out of here. So he's got to please 5 votes on council. Mamie can't get 5 votes as long as she is advocating for children. Because evidently, advocating for children in this town is a sin. Because only the Richmond Coalition for Quality Education as a group publicly advocates for children. People don't even know the Citywide PTA Association is out of business. Just defunct. We got 44 schools. Half of them don't have active PTA. That's scary. And so nobody's advocating for children. I caught the devil in my district by reducing some extra temp staff that would work in the Parks Division, transfer that money over to the Recreation Division because our kids are short-changed. These rec centers are so understaffed. We barely got anything going on for children in our recreation system. It's 1/10 of what it used to be. And so nobody